Ilia Topuria, the featherweight champ, is going around and he's talking a little bit of shit about Islam Makhachev and Dagestani fighters in general. He says that Dagestani fighters don't have anything special. They haven't got great cardio or stamina. They don't hit particularly hard or anything like that. And listen, if he was Islam Makhachev, he'd run off to the welterweight division.
The only thing I need, it's one punch. And you know for sure that I'm gonna connect that one punch.
Holy smokes. Ilia Topuria, the crazy son of a bitch, actually did it. He actually did it. As a matter of fact, Ilia Topuria has not made one single claim. I am forced to believe him. I don't have a choice. He has made 4 ridiculous claims. And he's done all damn 4 of them. I did not believe this.
Do you think Magomed has a chance to beat Alex?
No, especially if he will fight in, like he said, he will fight just in stand-up. If Alex will be in his shape like in the last fights, 100% no.
He's just different than everybody else in that he's such a specialist. He's not taking nobody down. Like, you never have to worry about him trying to take you down. He's not even interested. He's such a specialist. But that specialist is one of the best specialists ever at that game. Like, you watch him at his peak in glory. Dude, Alex Pereira in glory
was he at his peak, or is he peaking now?
If Ankalaev will keep his word, I'm the man who's taking a word seriously, and he said he will fight with Alex just in stand-up, I think Alex will win. And even if not, that will just show he's not the man of the word.
If Alex Pereira wrestles for 2 years straight, Olympic champion.
You don't believe it?
No, what do you mean I don't believe it?
How someone striking guy come to the wrestling and 2 years be Olympic champion? How?
Take him down. Then why has nobody done this to him in MMA? No.
Put him on Callouts.
You think Ankalaev take him down?
Of course, easy. Who beat it? Like wrestling guy.
Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz is a wrestler.
Okay, Ankalaev, Jan Blachowicz. What happened? How many times Ankalaev take him down? Brother, Dagestan, it's...
The excitement is getting higher and the tension has started to rise as the highly anticipated UFC 313 fight is just around the corner. Alex Pereira will defend his light heavyweight title against Magomed Ankalaev in the main event, while the co-main event will feature Justin Gaethje and Dan Hooker. The light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira is not worried about fighting Ankalaev. He believes he can beat him, and that's why Poatan is not making big changes in his style and training for that fight.
So let's talk about that then, because he's fighting Ankalaev at UFC 313. How is he feeling about the matchup with Ankalaev and the style of Ankalaev compared to what he's been fighting before?
He said he's just training as he used to train. Like nothing changed. The only difference is that he's left-handed, but he's just using his own matterhood. Nothing changed actually on the way he's going to fight with that guy.
What about if Ankalaev starts to wrestle? What does he feel about the Dagestani's wrestling style?
He's saying that he has a lot of experience with jiu-jitsu as well, so he's trained, he's prepared, so he's not scared at all. He's ready to go.
Alex Pereira is also putting some hard efforts in his training session as well to improve his grappling ahead of UFC 313. On the other hand, the Russian fighter Magomed Ankalaev is training hard for this fight. He wanted to fight Alex Pereira for a long time, and now he doesn't want to waste this opportunity and is ready to claim the title. He has made his intentions clear on how he will approach this fight. Magomed Ankalaev tweeted, "I never want to hurt someone in my life like I want to hurt Alex. He is a fake, humble boy." Alex Pereira is recently giving a lot of interviews and has been very active on social media. Reacting to this, Ankalaev takes a dig at Alex Pereira that while he is training hard, the champ is just busy dancing and making social appearances. Ankalaev further added, "I've been climbing mountain chopping, wood, swimming in freezing lake, and Alex been dancing and making video like TikTok chick." Similarly, Alex Pereira is not taking a step back as he warns the Russian fighter that he will humiliate him in the cage.
You know, if Ankalaev doesn't back up his words with action, people already know how I humiliate my opponents. Sometimes I joke around and all, but this time, I'm really gonna mess with this guy to the fullest. Let's see if his words mean anything.
Alex Pereira also knows that the Russian fighter won't be an easy opponent, but the champ has complete belief in his skills, and he sees Ankalaev like any other opponent. Alex Pereira said, "He is as dangerous as any other opponent I've fought. Look at him the way that he fights. He is an ordinary guy. Of course, he has his weapons, he has his dangers, but I've been training hard and I'm ready for him." In the co-main event, Dan Hooker and Justin Gaethje are also ready to show what they are capable of. In a recent interview, Dan Hooker made his approach crystal clear for this fight. Dan Hooker looks quite confident that this statement is a silent warning to Justin Gaethje. Recently, Dan Hooker also spoke with Michael Bisping.
I know full well 100% that this fight is gonna end, no matter whether his arm gets raised, my arm gets raised, and then I'm going straight on a stretcher, straight into the back of an ambulance, and I'm going to the hospital.
About the last fight of Gaethje with Holloway, he made it clear that he wasn't putting too much stock into Justin Gaethje's performance against Max Holloway. Dan Hooker said, "It was a very competitive fight. I think Justin was even getting the better of it until a spinning back kick landed on his nose. You know what it's like when you get your nose shattered in the first round. You can't breathe, you can't see. In rounds 2 and 3, there were some eye pokes. I don't take too much from that fight, even stylistically." Dan Hooker further elaborated his thoughts and challenged the popular narrative that Max Holloway outclassed Justin Gaethje in their latest encounter. Max Holloway added, "What most people take away from that fight is that Max outclassed Gaethje. I don't think it's that. It was just a bit of a banana peel fight." Meanwhile, the UFC legend Chael Sonnen has some concerns about the placement and timing of this bout as it is a non-title fight.
Really big fight like that strategically most often is placed on a card where the championship of that division would be on the line, so that you have two guys licensed, ready, training camp, willing, that you can grab and put into place. And that's not what happened here.
Sonnen believes that Dan Hooker would go hard against Justin Gaethje. According to Sonnen, this clash could turn out to be a career-changing fight. The UFC legend further compared the style of both fighters as Justin is a gentle fighter, while Dan Hooker is completely opposite to that.
But that seems like a career-changing fight. Dan Hooker doesn't do this nicely. He doesn't know how to do this gently. Justin Gaethje is the opposite of nice and gentle. That's a big fight, guys. It's a big fight. I'm going to stick with my question. What are they fighting for?
The former welterweight champion, Kamaru Usman, wants to see the comeback of Justin Gaethje. Usman believes Gaethje will redeem himself at UFC 313 by beating Dan Hooker.
My brother JG, I'm just excited to see him back in there. If anybody knows how to rebuild back, it's Justin Gaethje, because we saw what happened after he taken a loss to Eddie Alvarez, the tear he went on. We saw what happened after he lost to Dustin Poirier, the tear he went on. And now after Max Holloway, let's see what he does.
The former flyweight and bantamweight champion Henry Cejudo is excited for the Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker fight. He even believes that this fight might prove to be a bigger fight than the main event fight between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev.
Tell you what, Gaethje does not like Hooker. Hooker does not like Gaethje, and I think that's just gonna equal violence. Hooker's got good striking, man, and the dude was able to beat a guy like Gamrot. I think the people's main event is gonna be Gaethje versus Hooker, bro, on top of Pereira and Ankalaev.
Moreover, Tim Welch is also excited for this co-main event of UFC 313. Welch admired both Justin and Hooker as great fighters, and he is hopeful to see a close fight. He also acknowledged the style and skill set of both fighters.
Oh, what a sweet fight. Holy smokes. Man, that is a completely 50-50 fight for me. I don't even know who to pick for that. But
I mean, Dan Hooker, he does kind of fight with his hands by his armpits, and Justin Gaethje, he does like to get in there similar to like he did against James Vick, change levels, come forward with hooks. But you saw it against Max Holloway too. He throws 1, 2, 3 punches max, and I feel like he's going to have to put together some more combos than that to get to Dan Hooker. I think Dan Hooker trains at such a good gym with such good kickboxers that he's going to be pretty prepared for Justin Gaethje.
On the other hand, Dana White has announced some battles for the upcoming fight cards of UFC 314 and 315. However, the headline of his announcement was the news of Ilia Topuria's moving up to 155. Dana confirmed that Ilia Topuria has decided to vacate his belt and move to the lightweight division.
Topuria has felt like he's done all that he can in that division, and he feels like he's cemented his legacy, and his body cannot make the weight anymore. So Topuria will be moving up to 155 pounds and will be vacating the featherweight title. So the way that this works is, as soon as the first punch is thrown in this fight, the title is vacated. And we will announce what Topuria's next fight will be when we get it done.
Ilia Topuria wants to fight Islam Makhachev, and that's why he has made such a move. Topuria is now trash talking about Islam and Dagestani fighters to get the fight confirmed.
In a hypothetical fight against Islam, how do you see that fight going? If it goes to the ground, do you feel confident that you could out-grapple him, or would you try to keep it standing? And
My mindset is always the same. I'm always looking to achieve things that no one could. So someone could submit him, I will be the first one to submit him. And
any specific submission?
Now I heard some love from some idiot, but it's gonna happen.
He even said that if had faced Khabib Nurmagomedov, then he would have broken his unbeaten record.
საოცნებო მეტოქე ვიდა. ჩემი საოცნებო მეტოქე ვიდა. აი ვისნაირად გულით გინდა რომ ერთხელ დაუდგე. დიდი სიამოვნებით ოქტაგონზე შევიდოდი ხაბიბ ნურმაგომედოვთან. რატო მასთან? ცხებელი რეკორდი აქვს 29-0-ზე და ატრაქტიული რეკორდი აქვს ჩემთვის. მე კიდე ისტორიულად ღირსეული ჩემპიონი არის, საპატივცემულო ჩემპიონი არის და ამარცხებ 100%.
The UFC legend Michael Bisping has shared his thoughts on why Ilia Topuria is trash talking about Islam. Bisping said that Topuria knows that to get this fight confirmed, he has to do this. He believes Topuria just wants to hype things, and that's why he is making such statements.
Ilia Topuria, the featherweight champ, is going around and he's talking a little bit of about Islam Makhachev and Dagestani fighters in general. He says that Dagestani fighters don't have anything special. They haven't got great cardio or stamina. They don't hit particularly hard or anything like that. And listen, if he was Islam Makhachev, he'd run off to the welterweight division.
The only thing I need, it's one punch, and you know for sure that I'm gonna connect that one punch.
He says that Islam Makhachev is doing anything he can to avoid a fight with Ilia Topuria.
Tiene miedo. Claro que tiene miedo.
Now, of course, Ilia Topuria is talking a lot of shit there, and that is exactly what you want to do if you want to get the fight.
The coach of Islam Makhachev, Javier Mendez, also reacted to this decision of Ilia Topuria to move up to the lightweight division.
But what's your reaction, man? He actually vacated the belt. He won't be defending it. He is coming to 155.
Wow. Hey, respect. Respect. I can't say any more than that, right? But huge respect.
Javier Mendez said he respects Ilia Topuria as a fighter, and if UFC wants to make this fight happen, then Islam will definitely fight Topuria.
Yeah, I have big respect for that. For us, it's one of those, we fight another featherweight again. So for us, it's what it is. It is what it is. If that's what the UFC is offering, then that's what they're offering. But for us, I don't think it's for him. It's huge. For us, it's another one of those situations that we're supposed to win.
Recently, Team Makhachev also shared his updated view on the potential fight with Ilia Topuria. Speaking to Red Corner MMA, Rizvan Magomedov weighed in on the rumors, and he said Topuria has to prove himself first before getting a title shot. Rizvan Magomedov suggested that Topuria versus Dustin or Charles should be a contender fight to prove he's a legitimate lightweight. We don't need to fight another small featherweight. We need a big fight that makes sense for everyone. We already gave the long reigning featherweight champ his chance. Furthermore, the coach of Alexander Volkanovski talked about the chances of Ilia Topuria and how the now former featherweight champion might fare against the Dagestani star. However, Joe knows that the knockout power of Topuria will be a key, and the fight is going to be a close one. Joe Lopez told Submission Radio, "It's a hard one, you know, because Ilia has got that knockout power. You know, if he lands one on anybody, you know it's good night. And he's got pretty good wrestling, you know, and he's hard to take down, so it'd be an interesting matchup, especially coming up in weight. He's going to be a lot stronger." The UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier has given Topuria a wake-up call before his potential clash against Islam Makhachev. Daniel Cormier told Chael Sonnen on their podcast, "He's a champion through and through, but when I see him, right, he's not a big guy. I don't feel like he's a big guy. So to hear he says he can't make 145 anymore seems a bit odd to me, because I see Makhachev, I saw Khabib as the champ, hell, I see Chandler, and dude, Oliveira is massive. These guys are bigger, much bigger than Ilia Topuria." Meanwhile, Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight is still not confirmed. The fans are waiting for the confirmation of this fight, as Dana White promised to make this fight possible in 2025. Jones is expected to fight the interim champion Tom Aspinall in a title unification bout. However, Jon Jones wants to be paid handsomely to consider that matchup.
He's annoying to me. If I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it, I want that money.
Additionally, the heavyweight champion Jon Jones is more interested in fighting the light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira. Jones believes a fight with Pereira would be more beneficial for his legacy than fighting Aspinall.
I'm not really worried about the Tom fight. I'm really worried about the Pereira fight. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do, and I think if the UFC wants to have me back, then I think that's the fight they'll make. I've been really clear about my intentions. That's what I want. And
meanwhile, the American MMA fighter Ben Askren doesn't think that Jon Jones would fight again. Askren said on his Funky and the Champ show with Daniel Cormier, "If there were Kalshi odds on does Jon Jones fight again, I believe it would be less than 50%. I think it would be less than 50%. I think it would be somewhere around 20-30% that he fights again. I mean, Jon's not young. I would say if there's odds, I think it's less than half that he ever fights again." PFL Superfight Heavyweight Champion Francis Ngannou recently said, "White is the only obstacle in the way of him fighting Jones," but Ben Askren completely denied that idea as well. Askren further said, "That one ain't happening. Obviously, I was outside of the UFC for a long time, and I always had the desire. Yes, I would love to fight these guys, but I'm under no delusion that Dana White is gonna do some type of co-promote or something, because he just doesn't do that. So the idea that Francis is going to fight Jon is a pipe dream." The light heavyweight fighter Alex Pereira has also picked the current champion Jon Jones to retain his title and stay as the heavyweight champion at UFC 313.
Who do you think wins, Jon or Tom?
Quem que você acha que ganha, Jon Jones ou Tom Aspinall? Eu acho que Jon Jones.
Jon Jones. And for you, are these two, like, are you interested in Tom?
The UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira also revealed that he is ready for a potential fight against Jones. He also has an interest to move up and get his third UFC title. Alex Pereira said on the Ariel Helwani show, "I'm the champ. I want to fight the champ. Let's make the fight with Jon Jones. That's the fight I want for heavyweight." Before Jon Jones's last fight, we actually talked about possibly fighting. More random talk, not too much about fighting. He's not a friend or someone I talk with on the regular, but somebody I respect. I know he respects me, and there's mutual respect. Pereira will defend his light heavyweight title against Magomed Ankalaev in the UFC 313 headliner on March 8th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. But the champ has also agreed that his fight with Jon Jones would be a bigger fight than Aspinall legacy-wise. Pereira further said, "I think Jones wants to fight me because of the momentum and the risk. It's a risk fighting Aspinall. What is he going to gain there? It's another title fight, but fighting me is a much bigger achievement. I think it's the weight of the fight. It's a bigger fight. That's why." On the other hand, former UFC dual champion Cormier is still not ready to ignore the past history of Jon Jones. He mentioned the performance-enhancing drugs controversy of the heavyweight champion and denied calling him the GOAT due to that issue. Daniel Cormier said, "You really can't deny his greatness, right? Look at what he has done. The guy has really fought through 3 generations of fighters. He fought that early generation with Lyoto Machida and them. He went through my generation, and now he's fighting a whole other generation of guys. Jon Jones defeated Daniel Cormier twice during his 205-pound title reign, but Cormier was overturned to a no contest after Jones tested positive for a turinabol metabolite in their rematch. So that might be the reason why Cormier doesn't consider him the greatest fighter of all time. Cormier further said during the UFC 312 Q&A in Sydney, "So yeah, of course he's one of the greatest fighters of all time, but when you do dirty shei, you don't get to be called the greatest of all time." The former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya also wants his friend Pereira to retain his title. He has no doubt that Alex Pereira will emerge victorious at UFC 313 by beating Magomed Ankalaev.
And your prediction about Ankalaev and Pereira fight?
Boatan Shama.
Thank you.
Well, this is all we have from today's video, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. Share your thoughts about these updates in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting content related to MMA.